big. I don't think I ever thought of that before until just now in this moment. Welcome back, Awakening Beauties. If this is your first time joining me, I give you a very big hearty welcome. My name is Robin, and this channel is the intersection of fashion, beauty, health, and spirituality. I try to cover a lot of topics, but really the focus has been for the past year and few months about consumerism and controlling my impulses to shop. Last year I did a whole no buy year, and this year was supposed to be a low buy year for me. Coming soon will be a video about how was my low buy year going, and spoiler, it's not going great. But I've been talking a lot about my struggles to control my impulses to shop. And there's so much media and social media to influence us to spend money. And in my last video, I unsubscribed from like 35 beauty and fashion YouTube channels just because I needed a break from all of the information and all of the elements that are causing me, or contributing, I should say, to me wanting to spend money. And so it's kind of like an alcoholic who can't go out to bars with their friends. They have to stay away from those types of places that would trigger them to want to drink. I sort of feel that way. I'm staying away from channels, or at least I'm trying to stay away from channels that will cause me to want to spend money. But it's been a very interesting couple of weeks because I'm thinking a lot about something that I've always sort of known deep down, but actually like putting it into writing and putting it into words has been interesting for me. And maybe that's why you clicked on this video, because what I'm going to talk about here, I don't know if this is true for other people, but I'm thinking about for myself. So I always think if it's something that's true for me, it's probably true for other people as well. That, you know, the correlation between my financial diet and my physical diet. And it's no secret, if you've been watching my channel for a while, that I've had struggles with my weight, especially since the beginning of last year when I started my journey on a no buy year. And I put on a few pounds there at the very beginning of the year and have not been able to get it off. And I was already at a point where I'm overweight, you know, so it was like not good that I'm putting on a few pounds to begin with. So I'm on a health journey, I'm on a spiritual journey, I'm on a financial journey. And so I just want to kind of talk about some of the realizations that I had. And then I'm going to give 5 ways that I'm planning to change my thinking. And maybe this will help you too, of basically how to have an abundance mindset. So the correlation that I have been seeing in my financial situation and my health situation is that it feels like I can't do both at the same time. It's like either I can do really good, strict control of my finances and I'm on top of it and I'm thorough about my spending, but then it seems like I can't be on a physical diet where I'm very conscientious of the foods that I'm eating. I heard in a recent video somebody talking about their inner child needing play. And it's like that yearning for play and fun, and that being super restrictive in my finances has led maybe me to make worse choices in my eating, unconsciously, I'll say, but worse choices in my eating because it's like I need to have some fun in my life, and I'm feeling really restricted in this area. Can't get clothes, can't get the products that I want, can't get, the makeup that I want. But then on the other hand, I'm finding ways to reward myself for that restriction. So it's like if I feel restricted in one area of my life, then I tend to overindulge in another area of my life. And there's also the feeling of wanting to reward myself for all of my hard work. People will tell you that if you're trying to achieve a goal, you know, that you have to set smaller goals and then allow yourself little rewards as you achieve those goals. And I do think that that is very helpful. It's like if I'm doing one really well, I want to reward myself in another way that maybe isn't as healthy for me. And that serves as like having those little rewards. And sometimes they turn into big rewards, like financially, like spending a lot of money when I'm doing really good with my health. This has happened to me quite often, that when I've lost weight and I'm being super sort of restrictive and very careful about what I'm eating, then I just go haywire in my spending. And that's my reward for all of the hard work that I'm putting in. And ultimately that like sort of doesn't help either, because then I'm feeling stressed about all the money that I've spent. And that stress is like either leads me to go off my diet and then binge and, go eating things that aren't healthy for me, or it actually leads me to spending more money. It's a vicious cycle. And then you think like, okay, if I'm not going to reward myself for all of my hard work, then what's the point of doing this thing, this challenge that I have for myself of not spending money, or this challenge that I have to lose 10 pounds? If there's no like reward in the end, it should just be that the results of what you're getting from doing these certain challenges in your life, that the result is the reward. But I guess and I'm just sort of thinking about this now, like when it comes to the financial aspect of, me doing a no buy year, the reward at the end was that I had less debt on like credit cards. And the reward was that I felt proud of myself for doing a no buy year. And it was also rewarding to know that I had the willpower to rein in my spending. But those are all emotional. It wasn't like I had a ton in savings, it wasn't like I was able to take this spectacular trip from doing a no buy year, or it wasn't like my home was paid off, or it wasn't like I had put so much more into my IRAs, or just so many things where you could see that you would be able to see a physical manifestation of what you accomplished, of what that restriction accomplished. I don't know if I'm describing this well, but I'm trying to put it, and I'm sort of like thinking it through a little bit more as I'm talking about it to all of you. Leave me your thoughts below. What are your thoughts on the things that I'm saying? Do you have any advice, sage advice that you live by, or has anything that I have said triggered some thought in you that you think you should share with me? Because I always say we're a community here. I know I'm the one with the YouTube channel and you're on the other side of the screen watching me, but I don't have all the answers. And I'm a seeker in life, and I'm always seeking to get better. But I will round out the end of this video with some key points that I'm planning to do in my life as I move forward. So something that I've noticed with myself is that if I feel deprived, I get resentful, and then I get rebellious. And I think that's why most people will go off their diets, whether it's financial or physical health diet. So this swinging of the pendulum from very restrictive, very controlled, willpower, self-control, to out of control, it almost feels like it's been inevitable. And in order to it has to swing this way in order to bring me back to homeostasis, to bring me back to balance. But the point is, this where I'm at right now is not where I want to be right now. And so I don't want to swing so far this way and then swing so far this way and end up right back at the same point. I want to gradually move the set point, the homeostasis point, both financially and physically, where I'm constantly improving and nothing is going out of balance. I think that's the key here, is to stay in balance to making these transitions in my life, to making these improvements, but without a giant pendulum swing. So it makes me think, why do I always end up back here? Why do we always end up sort of back where we started in a lot of ways? Because as much as we've tried to make new habits in our life, it seems like it's easy to make the change initially. So often it is easy to initially make the change. Sometimes we're excited, like if we're starting a new diet plan or something, and we're excited and whatever. But keeping that motivation is the challenge, to keep going with it. Same thing with a financial diet. Initially, we're excited. Oh, I'm going to save so much money, and this is going to allow me to pay off this and pay off that. I wonder why I go back. And the phrase that came to my mind was that because it's not safe, we want to keep everything status quo, because this is our little safety realm. This is what we know. This is who we've been our whole lives. If we step outside of that, what's going to happen? What's going to change? What would it mean if I were no longer struggling with the rest of my friends financially? Would it mean that I'm no longer relatable to them? Would it mean that they would be envious of me and that it would change our relationships? Now, you're going to say, if they're a true friend, they're going to be happy for you. Yes, of course, that is true. But there's something deep inside of me that even says, if I lose weight and I get down to my goal weight, then it's going to change my relationship with people around me, that they're not going to see me the same way. And there is something true about that. I remember one time when I was probably, I don't know how old I was. I was in my early 30s, but I was losing a lot of weight. And one of my best friends, as a joke, when she saw me, she hadn't seen me in a couple of months, and she saw me, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight, bitch." I was like taken aback by it, and she just kind of laughed, and she's like, "Oh, I'm joking, you look great." But it was like, it hit me like really hard that she saw me now as a bitch, because that we weren't on the same level anymore. Now I had lost a lot of weight, and that somehow made her insecure. That is a small example of what we feel, and getting more attention, obviously, from the opposite sex and things like that, that I didn't feel safe about having that attention at those times in my life. It's also true of financially, like trying to imagine myself as super wealthy and being debt free and everything. Although I think, oh, that would be so wonderful. The reality is, if I really sit with that thought, who would I be if I were in that situation? And how would other people feel about me? Now, I care very little these days about what other people think about me, but there is something deep in my psyche that is holding me back from an abundance mindset. And I've become so accustomed to, you could also say addicted to, the story of struggle. Do you feel that way too? Do you find that you are so used to living this mindset of, I struggle just like everybody else, and life is hard and it's always going to be a struggle? I mean, I've heard myself saying, I will always have debt. I've heard myself saying that in the past. I don't say that anymore, but I've certainly said, the other thing I've certainly said is, I'm always going to have a car loan. I mean, we're between me and my husband, one of us is always going to have a car loan. Now, there have been times where we actually went years without car loans, and unfortunately, I have a car loan right now, but I'm hoping that when I pay off my car in a year and like 3 months, that we won't have another car loan. And if we ever do get another vehicle, that we'll just be able to pay cash, I hope. The other fear I find when I really sit and think about this is that I've done these Dr. Joe Dispenza workshops. I've read books about, manifesting and the laws of attraction and all of that. And so there's this fear that what if I put everything into it? What if I change all of my thinking and I do all of this work to try to manifest this certain life that I want and it doesn't work and it's all a bunch of garbage? If you look back at the history of this channel, just 2 videos ago, I talked about how I manifested my dream vacation, which is coming up here in a few weeks. I do believe in the power of manifestation, but I don't believe it when it comes to something that's going to change my life. That's big. I don't think I ever thought of that before until just now in this moment. Because I believe about manifesting. Oh, you can manifest a vacation. You can manifest a new job. Because I've certainly done that. I've manifested jobs. And I knew that I had manifested because I had put the intentions out there and worked on it in my meditations and in my thinking. And I've manifested a lot of things in my life. But when it comes to something that is truly life-changing, that would shift my paradigm, I haven't believed that I could manifest those things. But deep down, I do believe there is a version of me that is debt-free and that is at a healthy weight for their height and age. So I do believe it's possible. There have been times in my life where I didn't think it was possible and I just sort of gave up. But I've done a lot of work on myself and I do believe there's a version of me and I want to draw that version to myself. What Dr. Joe talks about is working in the quantum level of manifesting something to you quicker than through just your actions. Shortening the length, the refractory time of when you ask for something and when it shows up. I was just talking to some friends last night, some people who I had gone to the jungle in Peru with, and I made a video about that. If you haven't watched that video, I feel like that was a really good video, and it didn't get a lot of views, but it was the lessons that I learned from the jungle. I went to the jungle 2 years in a row to Peru and did a whole dieta, worked with plant medicines, did a lot of meditating, did a lot of journaling. I learned a lot of lessons about life, just being in the jungle, just being in nature. And one of the biggest lessons I learned was about manifesting and how you have to ask for what you want. And the moment I would ask for if I needed something, like I had the first year I went, I had a horrible hip injury. My hip went out of place. I could not walk. I was in so much pain and I needed help. And when I finally was like, I need help would show up almost miraculously. Help would show up for me. So anyways, I do believe that we ask and it shall be given. I think the problem is I've been afraid to ask for what I really want. And that's been true in a lot of aspects of my life. Do you also find yourself afraid to ask for what you want? And I guess the fear is that you'll ask and you won't receive it. And that's true too. Sometimes, it's not like, you're going to pray to win the lottery. It's not like you're going to win the lottery the next day. Who knows? Maybe you will, but usually it doesn't work quite like that. But Dr. Joe always says that you leave the hows and wherefores up to the universe to surprise and delight you. That you ask for what you want, you get specific, you get into the emotions of having that thing, and just see how it unfolds. Don't try to control how it unfolds. So here are my tips, my 5 tips that I'm giving to me and I'm giving to you of how to have an abundance mindset. Because that's truly what it is. We're overcoming. This is what we're doing here on this channel, okay? We're forging ahead and we're going to overcome a lack mindset and we're going to move into an abundance mindset. So, what are the 5 things that I'm planning to do to move into an abundance mindset? Now, this list is not comprehensive. I'm sure there's 1,000 other things that I can add to this list, but these were the things that came to me immediately when I asked myself that question. Now, if you have tips for me, please leave them in the comments below. We're going to work on this together. I want you to be abundant and I want me to be abundant. I want us to all have abundance. First thing is to acknowledge each symbol of abundance that comes into your life. Now, how do we do this? A really good example of this was the late Dr. Wayne Dyer. He would say that when he would see a penny on the ground, he would pick up that penny and say, thank you to the universe or God for this symbol of abundance. And he would put it in his pocket. I mean, that's pretty remarkable because a lot of times we see a penny on the ground, we don't even think twice to pick it up because it's pretty much valueless in this world. But that's just one example of how we can become aware of any symbol of abundance that comes into our life. Anything of monetary value that comes into our life, we can thank the universe, thank God, whatever we want to thank for that symbol of abundance and feel the gratitude for it. And feel when you see that penny, that should be like seeing a $100 bill. It should get you that excited to see a penny because it's still of monetary value. It's a symbol of abundance. So big or small, have gratitude for every symbol of abundance that comes into your life. Number 2, feel gratitude when I'm paying my bills. Now, often, bill paying time has not been a very pleasant time in my life, traditionally through the years, because you see more money going out than's coming in a lot of times. But my plan is that every time I pay a bill, and a lot of my bills are automatic and I don't pay them. But even when I see an automatic withdrawal go out for a bill, I'm planning to say, thank you for the resources that allow me to pay this bill. Because I'm exchanging a resource for another resource. I'm exchanging my financial resource for the resource of electricity, for the resource of running water, for the resource of having a car to drive. I'm planning to be very grateful every time I pay a bill because I have the money, I have the resources to do it. Third way I'm planning to have an abundance mindset is to continue to show gratitude and honor for the things that I possess, for the physical things that I possess. I talked about this a lot in my closet declutter videos that I did last year when it was a no-buy year for me. I did these 30-day wardrobe challenges, and I've done them many times over on Instagram. You can look back at previous histories of me doing a 30-day wardrobe challenge. And I always write a little essay about what I'm feeling that day, and I give descriptions of how I put this outfit together, because the key was to put together outfits in a way I had never worn them before. So I couldn't buy anything new. I had to use all things that I already had. I know I have over 30 pairs of shoes, and I had enough like bottoms and tops and dresses to put together a brand new outfit every day without repeating something. And this is an awesome way, if you've never done something like this is a great way to pull out all the things in your closet that you're not wearing and to get you excited about wearing them. But it also can help you figure out why you're not wearing them. And maybe it's you don't have the right thing to wear them with. Maybe you haven't tried wearing it in a different way. Or maybe you truly don't really like it. Maybe you don't really like the fit. And at that point, it's time to declutter and donate, get rid of it. But one of the things that I always get from doing these projects for myself is that I am honoring the things that I have spent my resources, and my resource is my energy, to obtain a paycheck in order to obtain this garment which has energy of its own. Everything has an energy. And it's my way of giving honor to this thing that I have acquired into my life. So this is really honoring me. It's honoring me that, like I said, I have put my physical energy, my time, my effort, my hard-earned sweat into obtaining a paycheck, which is an exchange of energy, into obtaining a garment that was an exchange of energy, that I gave something of my resources to get this resource. And I'm just going to let it flounder in my closet without ever getting worn. I mean, to me, that's like I've squandered my energy. I've squandered my energy and I've treated myself as valueless if I don't value the things that I have bought. So, taking care of your things, whether it's your car, whether it's your home, whether it's your clothes, your shoes, giving them honor, not just throwing them in a pile, hanging up your clothes, folding them and putting them away. All of these little acts that we can do are ways that we show honor to the things that we have bought. And it's showing honor to ourselves. The fourth way I'm planning to have an abundance mindset is to feel excited for other people's gains and other people's wealth as if it were my own. Now, sometimes you see these influencers with their influencer homes and you kind of roll your eyes of like, oh, you know, that's not the real world, what most people live like. And then you see them, they're buying a new house, they're buying a vacation home, they just got a new car. And it would be easy to feel jealous and envious of those people. But I am choosing to be so excited and happy for them and to imagine it as if it were my own happening to me. Because I feel like what you do for others, what energy you put out towards other people is what you're going to get back. So I'm just going to be happy as can be, like it's happening to me. Oh my gosh, look at my new vacation home. Isn't that beautiful? And the fifth thing is if, and probably when, I do feel envious or jealous of somebody else's success or of their financial situation, I'm planning to practice the ancient Hawaiian tradition called Hoopono Pono. This is the practice of reconciliation and forgiveness. So I just want to read to you what each part of Hoopono. If you've never heard of Hoopono Pono, it's a very powerful practice, and it goes like this. Hoopono Pono is about taking responsibility for everything that affects your state of being. It's the art of acceptance, forgiveness, and cleansing of the energies you attract into your life. So it goes like this. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So when you say I'm sorry, you are recognizing and accepting the responsibility for the actions, thoughts, and emotions that have caused conflict to manifest into your reality. Please forgive me. The words please forgive me are said as a request to make amends with your higher self and the universe alike. Thank you is the opportunity to show gratitude to your higher self as well as the universe for allowing your negative thoughts, actions, and emotions to be cleared. I love you can be emitted out to the universe, God, source energy, etc., whatever you believe in, as a form of gratitude. When you use the words in this way, you are saying, I love you for allowing me this earth experience. So these four phrases, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, these carry the highest vibrations than any other sayings. If I'm feeling negative about someone else's financial situation, I'm going to say Hoopono Pono and say these four phrases and release that toxic energy that's creating a lack mindset in myself and let it go. So these are things that I'm planning to do as I move forward, and I need to constantly remind myself of these 5 things so that I can change my mindset and change any remaining lack mentality that is hiding. I feel like it's hiding in different places in my body. And I'm letting it go. I'm choosing an abundance mindset. And that is scary. I will admit that. Choosing an abundant mindset sounds hokey as hell. And it sounds like when I think about it, I have that moment where I think you're setting yourself up for failure. You know you're just going to fail. You've failed 1,000 times before. You've lied to yourself. You've let yourself down over and over. Who do you think you are? You're nobody special. These are all stories. These are all stories that I've collected through the years that I've been telling myself that have been holding me back from what I want to achieve in my life. And I hope you are also releasing a lack mindset and embracing an abundance mindset too. And I want that for you. I want you to be super abundant. See, I'm already practicing being happy for other people's abundance. Well, anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, give it a like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Why not share it with some people if you think that this might resonate with somebody? And I definitely do hope you'll subscribe and join me again as I continue this journey, and hit that notification bell to let you know when I upload. Generally, I only upload about once a week, so I won't overload your inbox. Your inbox? Do they have an inbox on YouTube? Anyways, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you joining me. And if you've made it this far, let me know below if you made it all the way to the end. Until next time, you guys, I love you and you're doing great.